It's Jennifer, your friendly trauma recovery coach. And today I want to talk about neuroplasticity again. I kind of touched on it before, but I really want to kind of get in there and talk about it some more. Um, and it's how your brain, how you have some control, how your brain can change. And it can make a big difference in your life. So I do want to go into that today. Before, the scientists thought that our brain was static. Once you've learned something, that's it, that's all. You've got to put up with it for the rest of your life. But now we know that it's not, it's more plastic, and we can bend it and shape it and move it. And so this is an exciting one for me, and I'll explain why it's so exciting for me first, besides the sciencey stuff. But anyway, so let's just get right into it. First of all, what is it? Um, It is, let me just read the thing, the ability of the brain to form and recognize synaptic connections in response to learning, experiences, or following injury. So your body will take the synapses and change things if it needs to, because really all your brain wants to do is protect you, whether it's from a physical thing or from a mental thing. But it's literally just wants to protect you at all times. And the next one is, how does it work? Okay, this is a little more sciencey stuff too, and I promise that'll be the end of that. The brain dispenses of unused and unnecessary neural connections. Okay, if you're kind of like you don't lose it, you use it, don't use it, you lose it thing, kind of like that. But it also strengthens those neural connections that are being used, and it keeps those going stronger. The brain doesn't see bad or good. It just sees what is being used and strengthens that. So that is why we're going to be able to make some changes, because it doesn't see bad or good. It's literally just trying to protect you. And the next thing is, what is the benefits of it? Now this one is kind of big for Joseph and I on two different levels. And it means that nothing is permanent. That's the big benefit of this whole thing. And that's something I really want to look at. Okay, for Joseph, his was a physical thing, or more like it was induced by chemicals from his chemo. It gave him dementia-like symptoms. So we had an amazing therapist, Lauren, who came in and definitely changed his quality of life. She was able to, he had all the memories, everything was in there. We just had to figure out another way to get it out. Because he would literally think he was saying one thing, but what was coming out of his mouth was something totally different. Last year was always funny because she would ask him every time she came, she asked him the date, the day of the week, who the president was. There were certain questions she always asked. And one of them was the date, like the whole date, the month and the year, everything. But last year it was 2021, and his brain, for whatever reason, would take those last two numbers and transpose them so that it was always 2012. But in his head, he knew he thought he was saying 2021. So she was able to change what needed to be to a different pathway by using games and word puzzles and things like that. So it's not something that has to be crazy hard. It's just that it needs to be done. Now, for me, the benefit was that for so long after I had the trauma of going through an abusive relationship and dealing with all that, I wanted to act like it didn't happen. It wasn't part of me, because I didn't want people to, and you don't ever hear me talking much about it. So this is the first time I'm really starting to talk more about it, because I didn't want people to think of that first. I wanted them to see me first. And so when I found out that I could change how I thought about certain things, because for me, certain things would happen and I would not have any control how I reacted physically or emotionally or anything like that. I would be charged. Well, now that I know that I could change something, that was actually hope for me. So that was good. Now there is one risk that they have found as like chronic pain. For some reason, when they're trying to change some things over here, the chronic pain goes up if you're dealing with pain, obviously. but that's the only thing they've found so far, and they're still not sure why that happens. So from the different research that I looked at when I first found out about this a few years ago, was the risk. And I thought, well, I can deal with that. So, but once again, you can make some changes, and there are a few exercises. You're going to hate me for these exercises because it's going to be, here Jennifer goes again. Meditation. It's like the huge one. Music and art, big. You learn something new. Like I said, I learn something new every year. Eating well and sleeping well, and unplug with a hobby. Those are the top ones, and they always will be. So don't get mad at me. It's actually there. So, but anyway, that is what we're going to talk about this week. We're going to actually go through that, and I'm going to have a challenge next week where we're going to try to do each one of those things for a week, just to see if we can do it, and see if, you can ask me any questions you want to ask, and we'll go from there. But go out